Hey, my name's Amani. I'm a social entrepreneur and youth activist. Today I'm going to introduce you to a skill that has personally helped me to excel in my career and personal life. In my opinion, networking should be taught in schools because to me it's a very important skill to have. Networking is key to a successful and expanding career. It can also be defined as the action or process of interacting with others in exchange of information and developing professional or social contacts. There's a well-known saying that goes, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But I believe it's not just who you know, it's about who you are becoming as a person. A good networker will invest their time in getting to know people. The more effort you put into building meaningful relationships, the higher the possibility that they will be willing to assist you one day. The aim of networking is to build strong, long-lasting relationships. However, this isn't always with business people. You can build strong networks with friends, families, or sports teams. A wide network of informed, interconnected contacts also means broader access to new and valuable information. You may also have heard the saying, your network is your net worth. I believe that the new way to network and build your true net worth is about charting your own course, living life based on your passions and being the best you can be. Now we're going to hear from Raye about her networking experiences. Hey Raye.
Hello.
How you doing?
Fabulous. Yourself?
Really good. Really good. So first question, how beneficial has networking been for your career so far? And are there any stories that stand out?
Networking is, probably the most important tool, especially for someone like me coming from not knowing anyone or anything. It's a way to reach out to us and connect. Crazily, the most popular way to connect with people is Instagram DM, which is so sad, but that's how it's been. And I've kind of connected with most people that way. I will, even if I think an artist is great, I'll just reach out and be like, you're great,
Name drops?
I've met everyone that way. Like, I think that's how I got in touch with Steph. When I did Side Tape, the project, Kojo and Bane, I was talking to all of them. It was all DM. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And then, gigs, and if you're out and about, if you get invited to shows, a lot of artists will be there. So then, back in the day, I'm like, hi, listen to my... And I was quite annoying with it as well. I'd be like, bring your headphones, charge the AirPods, do you know what I mean? Like, bring something to clean them with, and then just go be playing your music.
And so what would you say is your number one tip for networking?
My number one tip for networking is to be prepared, be polite, and persistent. I think the 3 Ps, which I've just given you, unintentionally. It's good to be kind to everyone because you have to be kind to everyone. I just think spreading love and being a nice person to be around makes people want to be closer to you anyway, and you just should because it's just nice and the world would be a much better place. And it's to be, not too annoying and not like, but to make your point and then be out, but get a contact, get a number, get something physical, an email, a number, a manager, go find the manager. Because more often than not, manager will listen. And if it's good, hi, hey, what are you doing? Come down, you just never know.
So be prepared, be polite, and be persistent.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. What a great insight. I hope you made some notes. Okay, let's dive deeper into some more benefits of networking. Networking can be an excellent source of new perspectives and ideas. Exchanging information on challenges, experiences, and goals is a key benefit of networking because it allows us to gain new insights that may not have been otherwise thought of. At the same time, offering helpful ideas to a contact is an excellent way to build your reputation as an innovative thinker. Networking also raises your profile and is a way of getting noticed. Regularly attending professional and social events can help to get your face known by the right people. This could help key people remember you and feel more familiar, which is a great advantage. There have been times where I've seen someone that I'd love to meet at 2 separate events, and this has made it easier to spark a conversation with them. For example, I think I opened with, hey, you were at that event last week. What did you think? Gaining the advice of experienced peers is an important benefit of networking. Discussing common challenges and opportunities opens doors to valuable suggestions and guidance. One of my personal favorite things to do when networking is to ask a thought-provoking question, such as, why did you start doing what you do? It sparks meaningful conversations and shows interest in the person's origin story. And finally, expanding your contacts opens doors to new opportunities for business, career advancement, personal growth, or simply new knowledge. Active networking helps to keep you at the top of people's minds when opportunities such as job openings arise. It also increases your likelihood of receiving introductions for other key contacts. You never know which of the connections you make today will be a key contact in the future, so try not to pass an opportunity to talk to someone new. How has networking helped me? For me, it's been a key skill that I've developed over about 15 years. Starting from age 16 as an aspiring rapper, I would go to events and speak to people about my music. Presenting myself in public began to build my confidence and took me out of my comfort zone. Later in life, that foundation really helped me when I was cold calling landlords for my property business. Being able to introduce myself confidently and quickly tell people what I was offering in a personable way set me aside from other agencies. Finally, in my current role as a social entrepreneur and a youth activist, the skill of building genuine, mutually beneficial relationships has allowed me to work with some groundbreaking projects and connect with some high-profile figures and organizations, especially during lockdown. Here are some of the brands and organizations I've worked with over the last 18 months. I've also worked with organizations like the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, One Young World, and connected with high-profile people like Anthony Joshua. I strongly recommend that each of you focus your energy on learning how to network effectively. It will change your life. So let me ask you, which of these 10 things do you think is important to do when networking? To be honest, that was a trick question. All of the above are key components when networking. They are all my personal tips, and I suggest that you take a photo to add to your notes. Now you've heard my experiences, I wanted to introduce you to a dear friend and brother of mine, Reggie Nelson. Reggie is most recognized by the media as the innovative young man who went from East London to the city, achieving this by knocking on the doors of wealthy people and asking for life advice. On his journey, Reggie has completed 5 internships at various asset managers and a hedge fund in the city. He has also been described by former Prime Minister Theresa May as a persistent and inspiring young man. So, first question, what inspired you to go knocking door to door?
The reason why I did what I did a couple of years ago, well, 6 years ago now, was I was at a point whereby, my family, we grew up in the environment that was really poverty driven, right? And I didn't have the greatest role models outside, and I didn't really have direction. So where I was growing up on the council estate, you almost given 3 options, which are music, sport, or crime. And I was playing football at youth professional level, and unfortunately it didn't work out. So I stopped playing at 17. I wasn't going to become a criminal, and music wasn't something that I was particularly good at. So when you exploit those 3 options, for me and for many of the people that I grew up with, you don't really know where to go next. And I knew that because I didn't want to do the things that my friends were doing, I had to do something that was a bit different and a bit positive, but I didn't know what to do, which is why I decided to just think outside the box and go and do what I did, which was to go and knock on people's doors.
What happened after knocking on doors?
Initially, I went to Gloucester Road and I started asking random people on the streets first, what skills they had that allowed them to become wealthy and successful, so that I could extrapolate that for myself and use it and one day become as successful as them. In the process, people weren't talking to me on the streets, so I decided to go and knock on people's doors. And when I did that, knocked on the door of the then almost equivalent to a CIO of one of the largest asset management companies in the world called BlackRock. And from there, they invited me to their house. We had a conversation. That conversation led to an insight day at BlackRock whilst I was a college student. That then led to a week-long work experience, then led to me going to university, which is something that I didn't want to do, but I decided to do. From university, did 3 years, and I managed to sort of navigate my way throughout university and did about 4 or 5 internships throughout university, and then graduated in 2017. And since then, I've been working in corporate finance. That's what I do now. So I work in investment management. And I've been able to just travel the UK, across the world, to share my story, but to talk about things that I'm passionate about, like education, social mobility, and trying to instill resilience into people that look like me when I was growing up. So it's been an amazing journey for me, man.
And what are your top tips for the young people watching?
First thing I'll say is be fearless. Never feel like you don't deserve to be in a certain space. I think one of the things that comes up a lot, particularly from people that are from the same environment I'm from, is this thing of imposter syndrome, right? Not thinking that you belong in a certain room because of your background or because you don't fit a certain bill. But understand that if you're in a particular room or if you're in a particular space, you're there because you're good enough to be there. So if you're in that space and you need to network, be fearless. Don't feel like I don't belong here, so I'm not going to talk to this person or reach out to this person. That's the first thing. The second thing I'll say is think innovatively when you are networking. Because if you're networking to gain a deal or networking to gain experience in something, you have to understand that a lot of people are trying to do what you're trying to do. So it then becomes really, really competitive. So you have to sort of think outside the box. And one thing that I do, and it's really worked for me, is when I meet someone that is of a particular level or whatever, or someone I really want to stay in contact with, I tend to write them letters. So I write them handwritten letters and I send it to them just to say thank you. And more often than not, it reaps a good response because not many people are thinking of doing that. So be fearless, think outside the box, and also I would say never turn down an opportunity because you don't think it's for you. So if you do come across an opportunity or someone sends you an opportunity, at least look at that opportunity or at least dive into that. There's so many times when someone sent me something and I've disregarded it, or I thought that I wasn't good enough for it. But when I've inquired into it a lot more, it's honestly changed my life. I've done a course at Oxford University because I was able to dive into something that I thought wasn't for me. I've gained trips across the world because I thought initially when I thought, oh yeah, it's not for me, but I was able to look into it. I then realized, oh, right, this is for me. So don't turn down opportunities because you don't think it's for you or because you don't think you'll benefit from it. And those will be my top tips.
Thanks, Reggie. Now, as we begin to wrap up, I want to give you some quick fire tips, so make sure you got your notepads out. Let's go. Here are 7 tips for networking online. Number 1, hone your professional profile. Before you even think about reaching out to any industry professional, make sure that you spend the time to strategically craft your profile. There are a number of social networks to choose from, so be selective. For example, there's LinkedIn, there's Twitter, or depending on the role you're going for, there's even Instagram. When curating the perfect material for your professional profile, be mindful in what you choose to post. A general rule of thumb is you shouldn't include anything that you wouldn't want your boss to see. Also, please make sure that you've got a professional looking email address with your first name and your surname included. One of the least helpful things you can do is send a professional email from an account like youngdriller25@gmail.com. Number 2, establish a well-rounded network. Everyone needs a well-rounded network, and you achieve this by networking with people in and out of your industry. You never know who someone else knows and who they can refer you to. Number 3, make communication personal. It's important to make sure that you are not just sending a copy and paste or a generic message, because trust me, people can tell. I personally think that you should include a few lines that are individually catered to the person you want to connect with. For example, I really enjoyed your webinar last week on X. The part where you said X really helped me to understand the issue better. Number 4, prepare for face-to-face interactions. Just because your network is being developed online during lockdown doesn't mean that relationships will stay there. Though social networking is a great way to kickstart a professional connection, the most long-lasting and beneficial relationships require at least a little face time. For example, grabbing a quick social distance coffee is an effective and informal way to solidify a contact. Number 5, be proactive. People are busy, especially people in leadership positions. Most of the time, it's going to be up to you to stay in touch. Some people I know get over 150 emails a day. Personally, I pride myself on being proactive and setting reminders to follow up after meeting someone. This is key, especially just after meeting them, so that you're fresh in their mind. Number 6, the fortune is in the follow-up. I love this saying because I personally know it's true. People are well-intentioned and most do plan to come back to you, but most of the time you need to keep chasing them. But remember, there's a fine line between politely following up and being annoying. It's all about trial and error. And finally, number 7, brainstorm good questions to ask. Whether it's a one-on-one call over the phone or an in-person networking event, you should be prepared to ask plenty of questions to keep the conversation going. Before the call or event, do some research on the company, person, or industry and brainstorm good conversation starters and lines of conversation. I just wanted to find out what it was like working at X after having X position at your previous company. That will really show the person that you're interested in them and not just after something. That was intense. Lots of information to download. You've now learned how to successfully network, plus got some great insights on best practice. I hope this has made you feel more confident and ready to get out there both online and in person and start building meaningful relationships. Make sure you check out some of the other short sets and webinars on the Apprentice Nation Training Hub, including Discover Your Best Self and Personal Branding. My name's Amani, I've been your host. See you soon.